thank you for coming. Please help yourself to breakfast. And honestly sponsored by welcome to stay for a wonderful shir by Dr. Avram Moshe Yeager. It's called Ruvain's Dudam and Hanukkah. What's the connection? So if you want to be connected to Hanukkah, so please stay for the shir. Anybody wants to sponsor the morning kola, please see Rabbi Brenner. Everybody knows the story that Dina was violated by Shechem, and Shimon and Levi go ahead and they massacre the whole city. So what's fascinating is the rabbis don't really condemn the act. They just want to know the justification. How is this allowed? How it was allowed that you have only one person sins and the whole community, the whole Shechem gets wiped out. In fact, they take to note, according to the Medrash, the degel, the flag that God designates for the tribe of Shimon is Shechem. If you look at the tribe, so in other words, so it wasn't something which was condemned, it's something which God immortalized, that he depicts which flag. So the question is, what justification, this is what the rabbis grapple with, do they have for killing all the inhabitants of Shechem? So Orach Chaim HaKadosh says that if the nations see one lowly person, the degenerate that attacks Jews and does as he pleases, then Jews will be able to survive anywhere among the world, among the nations. That's according to Orach Chaim HaKadosh. According to the Rambam, according to Maimonides, is that according to the 7 Noahide laws, you're supposed to have courts and try criminals. And since the people in Shechem didn't have a court to try Shechem, he should have found liable for what he did. Therefore, the death penalty is incurred against him. However, the morale doesn't like it. It says the truth is that it's not so easy for people to rise up and kill the king, kill the prince, kill the rulers. Not so easy. So, if that's the case, according to morale, why were Shimon and Levi allowed to kill the inhabitants of Shechem? And the answer is because Shechem was a nation, and Yaakov and his sons were a nation. It's nation to nation. It's not people to people, it's nation to nation. And he says, since they were nation to nation, Shimon and Levi were allowed to go to battle against another nation and wage war. Even though Torah has a restriction that when you go to war, you're supposed to try to make peace, that's only if they didn't do any harm to the Jewish people. If they did harm to the Jewish people, then you don't have to go and allow them to an offer of peace. And since here in this case they hurt Israel, so it's permissible for Shimon and Levi to take revenge on Shechem. Even though one person sinned, he was part of a collective. And the morale concludes, in every similar war, including Minyan, what does God say to Moshe? Take vengeance upon Minyan. Does that mean every person in Minyan was responsible for what happened? No. But many Minyanites did nothing wrong. It makes no difference when you go to a war from the same nation, Israel was allowed to wage war against it. Even this collateral damage is permissible. Finally, the thought is, though, how did Shimon and Levi know that if they would go ahead and do this whole scheme about asking them to be circumcised, how did they know what's going to work? And the answer is because Yaakov says, what's Yaakov's objection? He doesn't object to the fact what they did. He was concerned that they be immoral, that the nations around the world would condemn him. He'd be odious, that he's few in number. They're more non-Jews than Yaakov and his family. He was afraid he would be killed. So how did they know it would be successful? So some of the Mefarshim say that's why he had them circumcised. The reason he would be successful, if it would be just killed just people who weren't Jewish, then it would be one thing. Then they'd all be rise up. But since they were circumcised, in the eyes of the nation, they're considered Jews. If Jews hurt each other, they don't care. It's only with the non-Jews. It's a little bit with a tongue-in-cheek, but there's a certain truth to it. But they have a situation, though, where you see even today, and I'm just struck when you even look and see what's in Gaza. There was somebody who escaped from captivity. They turned him over to Hamas, the people of residence. As the victims and the Hashis were leaving, they were throwing stones at them. So you see, unfortunately, the culture where Hamas is, and this is what I think the morale alludes to, you're enablers. When you have people who enable these people to do these things, it's certainly, when we go into a war, while we are concerned about life, we also have to take into account the fact that these are people who hate Israel. And you see this very clearly from the parsha, what happened with Shechem.